Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. All right, welcome back to Gun Talk. I'm Tom Gresham. If you want to join us, it's pretty darn easy. Just call me, Tom, by calling Tom Talk Gun. That's the number, Tom Talk Gun, get you in here. I'm having a quote-unquote conversation on Twitter with some people who think it's horrible that you would want to force teachers to carry guns. This is reprehensible. What's wrong with you people? And so I asked somebody on there, I said, well, could you give me an example, just one, of a proposal anywhere where teachers would be forced to carry guns? Because I'm simply unaware of that. So far, no response whatsoever. They kind of go away when you call them on their stuff. But there are good programs out there for teachers and staff who want to get involved in school safety. Joining me right now is Jim Irvine. Jim has been very involved in the F.A.S.T.E.R Program coming out of Ohio and then in other states. Jim, welcome. I was excited to see that the F.A.S.T.E.R program is expanding. You want to kind of give us some background into that?
Yeah, good afternoon, Tom. It's a pleasure, and I completely agree. No teacher or anybody else should ever be forced to carry a gun. But we've got about 3,000 that want to do this to better protect the kids. They're willing to die for them anyway, so let's get them the tools to live for them instead of dying for them, and let's expand it nationwide. So I was training school staff yesterday. We had people in from Maryland into Ohio, and in a couple of weeks, we've got a class going on out in Arizona.
So back up, tell people what FASTER is. What's it stand for, and what is it?
Yeah, FASTER is an acronym. It stands for Faculty, Administrator, Safety Training, and Emergency Response. The training doesn't do us any good if we don't respond with it. As you noted, we saw in Texas yesterday with the law enforcement responding and stopping a killer there. And so it's a program that is designed and built by our nation's top experts in the psychology and mindset, the shooting, the tactics, the medical stuff, the trauma care, working with our parents and our schools and our administrators. And we put together a program that trains our school staff to deal with active killers. I firmly believe that we cannot just reduce them and turn the curve down, but absolutely eliminate active shootings in our schools. We've got a decade of experience in 22 states and millions of man hours, and kids have not died in a school that is implementing our program.
Whoa. You like threw out three things there that were important. Two of them I caught. There may be something else. But you said you got 22 states where you have trained, or there are teachers that are carrying guns. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've trained approximately 3,000 people in 300 districts in 22 states.
And then you said, and I had heard this before, there's never been a school shooting in a school where teachers and staff are armed.
Correct. Not that we can find, and if John Lott can't find it, I don't know who else could.
Holy cow, that's amazing. You would think that would be like headline news everywhere, but it's completely invisible to the general public.
Yeah, in very conservative estimates, we've got over 2 million man hours of people carrying guns to protect the kids in our schools and the program where we've worked with. And I know of many other programs besides ours who are doing this without any incident, any problems, no loss of life or injuries, and most importantly, 0 dead children in any of these schools. Isn't that what we all want? Who on earth is on the other side of this fight?
Well, exactly. And one of the things that people don't understand, they say, well, if you're doing that, then when the police come in, they're not going to know who the good guys are. They're going to shoot the teachers. You go, well, no. You actually, when you're working with the staff and the teachers, you're actually incorporating law enforcement into that, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. And we're looking to do a class with just school resource officers that we'll get into a little bit of other stuff this year. Because our law enforcement are not trained to the standard that we wish they were trained at. And we've found that the police doing this job want this training, welcome it. It's just a matter of manpower, getting the time off to attend, which is what killed it last year, and funding. So we're working on addressing those issues and plan to do a course at it this year for them.
And I was excited when I learned that our friend and coworker, Chris Areno, is going to be out working with you with the program in Arizona. He's going to be one of your instructors.
Yeah, Chris is going to lead the class out in Arizona. That's going on in, I guess, 2 weekends from now, 19, 20, 21. And if there's folks that are already qualified, I think there's still a couple openings in that class.
Oh, okay. Now, I know that you've got the one site, website, fastersaveslives.org. Is that the best place to start?
Yep, that's the best place to start. And if people have questions, or if you're just listening going, hey, why isn't my school involved in this? Let your school know to check it out. We're a nonprofit and we do this work. I'm a volunteer. We do have, we hire trainers to do this, but it is the neatest thing I've ever been involved with outside of raising my own kids, because the love and the care and the dedication of the school staff. I just worked with 3 yesterday that are new into this realm. They took concealed carry classes years ago, but never really got into this. And they understood. We had a very frank talk on the enormous responsibility that they are taking to become not just license holders, but really professionals and get into this, the mindset, the shooting, all of the stuff that's required in this. And they all thought about it and said, yes, we are up to the task. Tell us what we need to do next. And so it's really neat to work with people like that. I know our school system's a mess, but in that mess are a lot of really good people who will do anything and everything to help. They're doing it for the love of the kids, and they motivate me, and it's the neatest thing in the world to get to help someone like that become a better person and a better caretaker of our nation's children.
And Jim, I got to know that at some point, sometimes in these classes, when you start with the process, you describe it and talk about the responsibilities, it's not for everyone. There probably are people who think this is for them, and then they say, yeah, this is not going to work for me.
Correct. They all know what they're coming to in a class, but sometimes they haven't really thought through the intricacies of stuff. It is more common than not, I would say, that in a class of 24, someone will voluntarily drop out on their own because they realize, whoa, this is way more than what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Maybe they're not right for this role, but some of them have said, hey, I want to lead our medical team. I want to do that. Some of them are like, hey, I want to work with our safety team in other ways and redo the way we think about security and access points and different things like that. So there's a role for everyone in this. Very few people want to and are right to take on the responsibility of carrying the gun and everything we require on that, because it's a lot. But everyone in that building has some responsibility and has a place on this team to do it safely. And when our schools embrace the team concept, we see results. The best part is those schools, I think, are far less likely to have to stop an active killing because they can prevent them from happening because they're working with a team in a broad way to address safety and security issues. And we've seen that many times as well.
Last question for you here. Michelle's asking me, she says, how many members of the school staff participate in carrying? Do they carry all the day, every day? Do they rotate? How does that work?
It depends on the individual. I'm frustrated when school staff only carry at school because I think they're missing out tremendously. And I think for their own families and their own lives, they're worth protecting, not just my kids. We encourage them to carry. Anytime you can legally carry a gun, be carrying it. We all know stories from people who chose not to, and it goes badly. So, but usually in a school, we like at least 2, sometimes maybe 5, kind of depends on the size of the building. Each general area should have ideally somebody in it. But more important than the number or ratio is it's got to be the right people. We've had schools send us people because this wing isn't protected. And you look at them and you're like, yeah, but these aren't the right people for this role. They're wonderful people, heart of a lion, but they're not right for this role. And it's working with the schools to help them realize what's required to do this properly. And sometimes people, it's not that they're not the right people, it's that they're drinking from a fire hose. We're trying to get them to a level that's so high, you can't do that in 3 days. So sometimes they'll come through the class, they'll struggle, they'll fight. They're really good people who want to do this. They just can't learn the skills as fast as we're pushing them. So they go home and they practice it. They come back a year later, retake that class, and they will just rock it. They've got the confidence. They've got the ability. They had a year to practice. They've read some books. Maybe they've gone to hear Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman or they've Michael Dorn or whoever else. trained with some people, done some other stuff, and they come back and they're fully committed in this, and then they're great members of this team. And it's neat to see people go through that transition in schools, to go through the recognition, hey, this isn't a macho thing. This isn't like, it's not a police or a soldier type thing. It's a love and caregiver thing.
Absolutely.
And
Hey,
they
Jim,
just need help to bring them along that road.
I got to roll, Jim. Jim Irvine, thank you so much for being here. And the website is FASTERSavesLives.org, FASTERSavesLives.org. If you're concerned about it, if you want to recommend it to your school, if you want to look more into it, I would highly encourage you to take a look at this. Thanks so much, Jim. I appreciate that.